My friend, get ready because what I'm about to tell you just happened behind the scenes in the NFL. The Raiders are signing a player that no one expected. A surprise signing, coming straight from the Giants, that could completely change the narrative of the season. After the last defeat, Pete Carroll and Tom Brady decided to act, and the move is underway. The front office wants to give the team a reality check, and this name could be the first step in a major turnaround in Las Vegas. But hold on, before I reveal who the player is, where he comes from, and why this move could be a game changer, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Because, my friend, what I'm about to tell you now is simply unbelievable. Las Vegas is in shock after another devastating loss this Sunday. A heartbreaking 30-29 overtime defeat against the Jaguars, the Raiders' 2025 season looks more fragile than ever, with a 2-6 record. The frustration is deep, especially after the failed two-point conversion that would have secured the win. Now, with a growing number of injuries and a weakened offense, the Raiders appear to be looking for reinforcements on a large scale, and a name from the New York Giants is suddenly gaining traction: Evan Neal. Yes, that Evan Neal, the imposing 6'7", 340-pound offensive lineman who was a first-round draft pick out of Alabama. Selected 7th overall by the Giants in 2022, Neal was initially projected as a tackle but failed to establish himself. Plagued by inconsistency and persistent injuries, he never lived up to expectations in the Big Apple. Critics have considered him a disappointment from the start, and now reports suggest that Las Vegas has discreetly initiated serious trade negotiations with New York, possibly offering a mid-round draft pick in exchange for a reclamation project. But what makes Neal attractive to the Raiders at this moment? The answer is desperation. Las Vegas's offensive line has been under constant attack all season, suffering 19 sacks so far. Their quarterback seems to be constantly on the verge of a nervous breakdown. By acquiring Neal, they could add muscle, size, and the raw talent of a former top 10 draft pick, even if he hasn't yet reached his full potential. While far from a guaranteed star acquisition, Neal could stabilize the interior of the line and bring a physical presence and experience to the trenches. Think of Neal not as a solution to all problems, but as a strategic gamble. The Raiders' current offensive line features key pieces like guard Caleb Rogers and tackle Colton Miller, but injuries and inexperience of the survivors. Their young offensive linemen, including Charles Grant and Rogers, are promising, but have little experience in real games. That's where Neal comes in. A big, talented player who may be just as much in need of a fresh start. That fresh start could happen in Las Vegas. Free from the pressure of being a top 10 draft pick in New York, Neal will finally have a chance to reset. For the Raiders, this move would send a clear message. They are committed to protecting their quarterback and building a team from the inside out. But there's a catch. Time is running out. With important games approaching, the front office may feel that this is the decisive moment to invest in an upgrade on the offensive line. If Las Vegas finalizes this trade, it won't just be a trade. It could be a turning point, but the conversations don't stop there. Now, another important name on the defense may be entering the trade radar. Just when Raiders fans thought things couldn't get any more uncertain, a new trade rumor is sending shockwaves through Las Vegas. Following another painful loss that left the Raiders with a 2-6 record, the front office, led by general manager John Spytek and head coach Pete Carroll, appears ready to make bold moves, and one of them may involve former first-round draft pick Tyrie Wilson. The player once seen as a cornerstone of the defense, now suddenly becoming a possible trade asset. Wilson arrived in the NFL in 2023 as a physical prodigy, 6 feet 6 inches, 275 pounds, explosive on the defensive line, selected 7th overall in the draft out of Texas Tech. He was supposed to be the perfect complement to Max Crosby, creating one of the most feared pass-rushing duos in the league. But nearly 3 seasons later, Wilson hasn't become the game-changing player Las Vegas expected. Despite playing consistently, around 45 to 50% of defensive snaps, his production remains modest. As a rookie, he recorded 3.5 sacks. In 2024, 4.5. Now, midway through the 2025 season, only 2 sacks and 6 quarterback pressures. The flashes of talent are there, but the dominance isn't. According to reports from Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, Wilson's name has surfaced as one of the Raiders' top trade targets before the deadline. At only 25 years old and under contract until 2026 with a 5th-year option, Wilson still has market value. His ability to play both on the edge and in the interior of the defensive line could make him attractive to teams looking to bolster their defensive lines. For a team aiming for the playoffs and needing a key piece on the defensive line, Wilson's potential might be worth the risk. Still, this would be a difficult decision for the Raiders. Trading him now would signal that the current management has lost faith in a player drafted by the previous regime, but keep him without results, just behind the progress. The team has struggled to pressure opposing opposing quarterbacks, with the exception of Crosby, and this has been one of the main reasons for the defense's collapse at the end of games. Wilson's lack of impact, combined with Malcolm Koontz's underwhelming season after signing a one-year contract, has left the Raiders desperate for solutions. There's also a strategic layer here. Wilson wasn't drafted by Spytek or Carroll, and when a new management takes over, loyalty to previous draft picks often disappears. Carroll's defensive philosophy demands speed, aggression, and constant pressure, qualities that Wilson has only demonstrated in moments. This misalignment may be driving this discussion. So, what could Las Vegas receive in return? NFL experts believe Wilson could fetch a late second-round or early third-round pick, depending on interest. That's a tempting offer for a team looking to rebuild its roster and address the problems on the defensive line that have plagued them all season. If the deal goes through, it will mark a turning point for the franchise, the first major move of the Carroll era. It will show that no one, besides Max Crosby, is safe. And as speculation mounts, one of the team's leaders decided to break the silence and send a direct message to the fans. Time and patience is running out for the Las Vegas Raiders. After a devastating 30-29 overtime loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, the team now sits at 2 wins and 6 losses, and frustration is at an all-time high. But amidst the storm, one voice stands out, that of defensive star Max Crosby, who has promised change. This game was supposedly going to mark a turning point for Las Vegas, a chance to prove that Pete Carroll and Tom Brady would bring stability. Instead, it became another painful collapse. The Raiders led 26-23 with less than 2 minutes to go, but allowed Jacksonville to tie the game with a 48-yard field goal. In overtime, Trevor Lawrence, who was reportedly even playing while sick, ran for the game-winning touchdown. Once again, Las Vegas came within a whisker of victory. Following the loss, Crosby took to social media with an emotional message that immediately went viral. Raider Nation, I love you guys with all my heart and soul. You deserve more. Stay together. Things are going to change. It was sincere, moving, and exactly what fans wanted to hear from their leader. On the field, Crosby continues to lead by example. Against Jacksonville, he had an exceptional performance. 4 tackles, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss, 1 pass defended, and 1 quarterback hit. His intensity never wavers, even when everything seems to be falling apart. That's why, despite trade rumors swirling around the team, international sources insist that Crosby is untouchable. He's not just the best player on the roster, he's the emotional core of the entire franchise. Still, his message raises questions. What kind of change is to come? Does it mean roster changes, coaching staff adjustments, or simply a new mentality? Under Pete Carroll's leadership, responsibility and effort have been prioritized, and Crosby's words may be a public challenge to his teammates to match his passion and urgency. Trade rumors continue to swirl around names like Tyrie Wilson and Jacoby Myers, but Crosby's leadership remains the stabilizing pillar. He made it clear, it's not about giving up on the season. It's about demanding more from everyone who wears silver and black. The Raiders' upcoming games will test whether that message truly resonates. With their playoff chances rapidly dwindling, they can't afford another collapse. But if there's one thing the Raider Nation knows, it's that Crosby never gives up. His grit, energy, and loyalty to the team are exactly what Las Vegas needs to climb out of this hole. When Crosby says things are going to change, those aren't empty words. It's a statement, one that could mark the beginning of a new chapter for this team. With the possible arrival of Neal to the roster, the league-wide interest in Tyrie Wilson, and Max Crosby's promise that things will change, it's fair to ask, will this be the moment the Raiders finally begin a true turnaround and rewrite the story of the 2025 season? Leave your opinion here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back later to update you with the latest Raiders news.